Welcome to Accelerate My Practice. So glad you could join me here today. Today I want to talk about the office tour. I just recently got this question from an office down in Arkansas. In fact, they even put me to the test and had me give a patient a tour, which was kind of fun because I don't always get to do that sort of stuff. So I want to talk about how do you do that. And I want to throw a few ground rules out real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about something funny. Obviously, if you're going to do an office tour, you got to have an office that's nice and clean. It's got to be presentable. It's got to look good. You can't have shag carpeting, holes in the wall, duct tape on the chairs. Secondly, it would be who's giving the tour. In my opinion, the person who's going to give the tour has got to be someone who's really bubbly, perky, got a lot of energy, and loves to engage with people. So pick the person who fits that the best. Don't just pick the only available person. Reallocate responsibility and get someone who's going to do an amazing job because they love talking to people. It's fun for them, it's engaging for them, and they'll be a ton better at it. The very first thing we need to do is create rapport. What's the best way to create rapport? When you walk out and say hi to somebody, say their name. If you ask someone what the most important part of their identity is, if they think about it enough, their identity's tied to their name. Secondly, in this, what I think about is linking and mirroring. Mirroring is, I want to mirror the behavior of the person across from me. So if I have somebody who's a slow talker and talks with a southern drawl and talks kind of like this, and I talk like I normally do really, really fast, how's this person going to interpret me? They're going to interpret me as pushy, aggressive, and annoying. So secondly is linking. Linking is how do we find points of commonality? So once we've developed some rapport through linking and mirroring, we want to make sure we're having fun, kind of like you saw these guys there. Sitting there joking around, having a good time, and just having a blast doing what they do. And that's kind of something that's in you. And if it's not in you, you better turn it on while you at least give the tour and have some fun with the person, or you're going to suck. You're not going to be any fun. Then we want to make sure we're telling a good story. The whole thing needs to be a good story. What am I good at? I hope I'm good at telling stories because I love telling stories. I love hearing people's stories. And all I'm doing is weaving a story with everyone who's around me. So as you're making sure that this is thought out, it's sort of scripted to where you have a good story. There's a beginning, there's an end, there's a crescendo, there's a decrease. We have all of these components of a very good and effective story. And part of that story is the history of the office, the doctor. Now what we want to do is it's a perfect segue to some of our technology. Maybe we're walking down the hall and we're going, hey, look over here. This is all the doctor's CE. Look how much CE our doctor does. It's amazing. She's so smart. He or she's so smart. They do all this training. And then we come over here and we look at maybe you have a CIRAC in your office. Let's talk about it. Have a partially milled crown that's still on the stub, whatever you want to call it. The mandrel. And then one that's completed, polished, and beautiful. And look at them and say, hey, the reason why we have this technology, it allows us to do these sorts of restorations in one appointment. You don't have to come back. You don't have to have a temporary. You don't have to have that goo in your mouth. You don't have to have the temporary that falls out of your mouth. Because we invested in this amazing technology to serve you better. Not only does it allow us to serve you better and to get it done faster, but we actually can make you something better because it's in our control. Now tell me if you were to do a tour like that. Maybe it doesn't need to take that long. I'm about 13 minutes in or so into this tour. Maybe it doesn't need to take that long. Maybe that's the key to success. Maybe that's the difference between getting just a filling done and a $5,000 or $10,000 case, taking 15 minutes. Maybe that's the difference between an experience and a transaction. I don't know. You're going to have to weigh it out for yourself. I'd talk to your coach. I'd figure out what's right for you. But whatever the case is, these things can be done. They're not difficult. You got to practice it. You got to get good at it. You got to be able to pick up the thing and say, hey, what do you think of this? This is what we do. Check it out. Let them touch it. Let them be engaged. It'll be a game changer for your practice. There's no doubt in my mind. Because you just started off a relationship with a huge deposit in their bank account. And whenever you start a relationship off with a huge deposit, you got nowhere to go but continue going up. And it's the way to do it. If your practice feels like a revolving door where your patients come in the front and out the back, this might be the problem. They don't feel welcome and part of your life, part of your family. Make them part of your family. Every one of you is part of my family. So many of you have shared your life with me, your stories with me, your tears with us. You've shared some highly personal items with us. You're part of my family as far as I'm concerned. I hope I feel like part of your family. If I don't, then you better shoot me an email and tell me why not. Because I want every experience to be with my team to be a 10. Now I realize that sometimes we'll drop the ball and it won't be a 10. That happens. And we'll ask for forgiveness, we'll apologize for it, and we'll work harder next time. But I want you to know our heart is always to make our experience together a 10. And if it's not taking place, you got to let me know. Shoot me an email, phone call, get in touch with me. I need to know this stuff so I can fix it. There's no other way I can fix it if I don't know. So that being said, I want to thank you for being a client of ours. I look forward to seeing you 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Until then, have a wonderful day. What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted.